Hi, I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. It is August 2nd, Friday morning, and I'm now at the 2-week stage since we added Formic Pro to my apiary. Last week we had a look through 3 of the hives and found like a 2 to 3 day gap in egg laying. So now that we're another week into it, I probably won't really see that because it should be a full range of larvae and just a tiny smaller amount of capped brood. So what I'm hoping to do is find a few queens today. It's already in the mid 80s, it's getting up into the 90s, and it's way high humidity, so I'm not going to be able to last very long, as I've just had COVID this week, so I feel pretty poor, let's say. Anyway, let's say I still feel weak. I feel like I'm past it now anyway. I think I'm over the hump. Anyway, gonna go through these hives and check to see what we can find. If we can find a queen, I want to do a couple of mite checks so that I can confirm the efficacy of the Formic Pro treatment. But I'll have to do a lot more of it as I go along. I've got 7 other yards to check up. But last year, that was the problem. Last year, I didn't have good results with the Formic Pro in terms of, it was say 3 weeks after my treatment that I actually did some sampling, and I found several 15s and a couple of 20s around yards, and I thought, wow, that is scary. So I had to treat again. Anyway, we'll see what results are like this year. So far, in comparison with Ian Stepler's work in terms of the effect on the brood, the effect on the brood is pretty much as I had hoped. Just a loss of a few days egg laying, and well, no real signs of anything bad happening in terms of a lot of brood getting killed or anything like that. So in terms of the effect on the brood, look good. But these are bigger hives, we're in mid-season. The colonies have lots of food in them. So let's see what we find in terms of efficacy, if we can find some queens. So let's have a look. Again, we're just going to lift the honey supers straight off, get them out of the way. We're going straight to the upper brood chamber. There's a queen excluder, it's stuck to the bottom of this box here. And we'll use that as our stand. If you hear some whistling, it's because I have a little fan around my neck, a gift from one of my apprentices, which is very good of helping keep me cool, but I've only got about 10% of battery left, so it's going to probably run out. Anyway, let's look through here. Smoke is working a little better than last time, and as we know, this hive over here we have to keep an eye on. That's the temperamental one. So we'll be looking at the brood, but our main objective today now is going to be to find the queen, but I want to get through numbers. It's the important thing, okay? Just honey, etc. as before. Emerging brood. And here's our queen. How about that? Thank you, Lord. Right there. So we're going to put the queen into a little neat box I've got here. Queen safely tucked away there. So now we'll do a mite test. Got my little kit here. Some Dawn liquid. That's my check. Half cup measure. Now, not as much open brood as I would have expected. I see some open brood here, but it's not as much as I'd have hoped to see. Has to be said that yesterday the temperatures, which was day 13, the temperatures did get up to 88 Fahrenheit, which is higher than it's supposed to be. Okay, interesting. I see no open brood. I see no open brood at all yet. Now, there was lots of open brood before, during the... Look at that. No open brood at all. There's a little bit here. But a little bit here. Now, having said that, we are in a pretty significant dearth right now. And I have okay, we've got open brood here as well. Okay, so we've got some open brood. These are things we'll look after them. Now, I'm not sure, I believe that a lot of the mite drop from the hives on screen bottom boards, for example, for Formic Pro treatment comes afterwards, but I think that would be as brood emerges and dead mites drop out of the system. Just noticing over here, a little predator at work. Giant spider wrapping up some of my bees. We're feeding a whole ecosystem here with these bees, as well as maintaining the flora and fauna as well. It's just getting fed by them. Okay. Test number 1. I see 0 mites. I believe it's 0 anyway. Do the next one. So interesting. We've seen, I saw a lot less open brood. So we saw open brood before. Put the queen back. But we have really seen a drop in the amount of it. We are seeing open brood. But in fewer frames, I imagine. Now, it could be that she's gone downstairs, and we'll have a look down there too. Just like to see that I've seen the queen when she goes back in. There she is. We didn't check this frame. Which I recall had young. Okay, that's better. That frame is full of young brood. I'm sorry about that. The camera overheated. But I've gone through the first hive and it had 0, maybe 1 mite. I went through the second hive and I see 10. This is the day the treatment ended. Okay, Formec Pro folks, what gives? We've done everything right and the efficacy is bollocks. We've got good results in some and we got crap results in others. This is the second year in a row that this has happened. Now, it's only a sample of 2 so far, but geez, I'm not impressed. I've heard other products are coming on the market with Viroxan, for example, the slow release oxalic acid treatment. But geez, this is a treatment that I'd hoped I could rely on more reliably than it seems I can. So I'm gonna have to pack in now. I'm running out of energy. The heat's getting up too much and the camera's gonna quit on me again. But whilst what I did find was the brood was much better. I found a very good open brood in the second hive, which maybe accounts for why the efficacy was as poor. I did find more open brood in the first hive, so it's not that the brood stopped being laid for a while, but certainly the brood rearing seems to be continuing in both. It was at first less than I would expect in the first hive. I thought it would have bounced back more than that, but I could probably say that's probably because of the dearth that we're in at the moment. But now, as opposed to brood being adversely affected, I'm just wondering is the expense and the effort and the brood loss worth it if it's not going to kill the frickin' mites? Okay, I'm pissed off at the moment with my many hundreds of dollars of purchase of Formic Pro, and we're going to see whether we should be continuing this or not. I'll hopefully be better tomorrow and do a bit more examining of the results. Okay, inside trying to cool off a little bit now. So the long and short of that treatment, that was brood rearing seems to continue. We have 2 to 3 days of gap in brood rearing, but the real question I have now about Formic Pro is whether it's worth it in the first place. Last year was the first year I had samples where a significant number gave me no apparent mite kill, and by a significant number I mean maybe a third to 40% of some of the hives I sampled during the midsummer. And granted, this is with honey supers on the hive, and on average I've got 1 honey super, maybe 2, and occasionally I've got 3. My hives are relatively small compared to what others would be at this time of the honey flow. Sometimes they're saying put extra supers on. Well, if the supers are an issue, if I'm diluting the fumes too much, then extra honey supers on will be a problem. So that's the question. Why is it not working properly? Now, I've only done 2 samples, so this is too early to tell. So follow up in another few days and I'll get more samples done, and I'll see what sort of ratio I'm finding of mites to mite kill to mites present significantly. So I don't know what to say at the moment. Hope maybe the mites that are there are dead ones. I doubt it, but we'll sample again, same hives plus other hives in the coming days. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to a refund from the mite kill manufacturing companies. This is I've been recommending that product for years. I will stop. In the meantime, I'm going to look for other products. I have some of that Varoxan on order. As soon as it's approved in Maine, I'm going to be using it. I'd like to consider other treatments as well. Like to look at other treatments as well, but I really would like to keep it in organic treatments, and I don't really want to do anything which is going to cause brood frames to be unusable for honey wise. Anyway, with a little bit better language now, I'm going to sign off, and we'll try and figure out what's the best stage to do to keep our mites under control. I know we've got thymol, but that will I've got some thymol here. It's a bit hot to be using thymol right now, but if Bob Binney can use it in Georgia, well, I'm sure I can use it here in Maine. But that will mean anything that's in the supers, honey-wise, has to come off, and there'll be no swapping brood frames around for honey supers, that's for sure. Okay, I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. See you next time.